Actually, they'll look, so they're.
We'll call this meeting to order. Welcome everybody. Thank y'all for coming out this evening. This is our regular second meeting of the month. Please, everybody, remember to silence your mobile devices. County Manager Cook, could you ask the invocation for us, please?
Glad to. Dear Lord, thank you so very much for this day, for your very many blessings, Father. I appreciate all you do for us and on this county, Lord. I pray that you'd be with our meeting tonight, Lord, that you just guide and direct. And Lord, that we would definitely do your work and the people's work. Lord, I pray these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Commissioner,
Attention, salute pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
everyone, if you will, please make yourself aware of the ethics awareness and conflict of interest reminder. Do we have any additions or changes to the agenda this evening?
Mr. Chairman, if one item would be for other business following your closed session, if that's acceptable.
Thank you. That would be
13A.
13A.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, we also need to add 10C, which is the jury commission appointment. We need to add 10D, which is the clerk's report.
So I've got a motion to add 10C, jury commission appointment, 10D, the clerk's report, and 13A, other business. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, vote with the usual sign. Motion carries. You guys will make note of that on your agendas. Do I have a motion? We adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Vote with the usual sign. Motion carries. Next item on the list is the approval of the minutes from September 5th. I have a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second. Second. All in favor, vote with the usual sign. Motion carried. That brings us to our report and presentation for Mitchell County Needs Assessment for the opioid settlement project. And I think Ms. Linda is going to talk about that one.
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for this opportunity to come and present before you tonight with an update on the Mitchell County Opioid Plan and Needs Assessment project and where we are at this point. We should all be aware that many Mitchell County residents have experienced and continue to experience enormous social, health, and economic burden resulting from drug-related use, overdose, treatment, recovery, and other costs. In fact, substance use has been named as a community health priority for approximately 13 years as per the Mitchell County Community Health Assessment. In 2022, the county received a grant from Dogwood Health Trust to conduct opioid-related collaborative assessment and planning for the distribution of proceeds from the National Opioid Settlement Agreement announced in July 2021. We have partnered with Western North Carolina Health Network to lead the various activities of this project. And the purpose of the project is to support the decision-making around the use of local opioid settlement funds for Mitchell County. The county cannot spend any funds till a plan has been adopted. This is a multi-part assessment process. Okay, so first I would like to talk about phase one. We started phase one back earlier this year, and that consists of completing a needs assessment report with an executive summary, which you have received. If you would like a copy in front of you right now of the executive summary, I'd be happy to pass that out. But I know you have both the executive summary as well as the full report. Now, keep in mind, the full report is 70-some pages, which includes the appendix and the resource list. So therefore, what the team decided to do is to compile an executive summary for you guys to really just have a snapshot of some of the highlights. And our steering committee got together and selected what they thought the commissioners would like to, just as those highlighted points of what our report indicates. So the phase, excuse me just a moment, this phase of the project, the data was compiled was co-designed with our steering committee and Western North Carolina Health Network, and from existing sources, including local, regional, and state quantitative data and local qualitative data. Sources include, but not limited to, North Carolina DHHS, Mitchell County Youth Risk Behavior Survey through the Mitchell County Schools, Mitchell Medics, Mitchell County DSS, Western North Carolina Health Network, Via Health, Search, MCHP, Cecil C. SEPS Center for Health Services Research, Mitchell and Yancey Substance Abuse Task Force, PATH, the AMY Wellness Foundation, 911, and more. So as you can see, a lot of different sources, a lot of different input had a role in putting this report together for everyone in Mitchell County. As well, we created a steering committee earlier this year, which made up about 19 local community partners that was involved, and they determined who 10 key informant individuals within the county that is close, that their day-to-day lives, their job is related to substance use. We determined who those key informants were, and they were interviewed. So you will notice in the full report information that was compiled from those key informants, such as a judge, such as, health providers, clinical individuals, Mitchell Medics, and so forth. So just to mention, I would like to recognize the steering committee, which included County Manager, Commissioner Brandon Pittman, DSS, MCHP, Hope House, PATH, Mitchell County 911, the Mountain View Correctional Institution, Toe River Health, EMS, Celebrate Recovery, the Sheriff's Department. So we had a nice mixture, I think, of individuals that came together. We did some brainstorming. We had several meetings. Whenever the data was compiled, they went through it. We had several revisions of this to make sure that this report is something that the county can use. Okay, so the executive summary has a few highlights. It includes, as you will see, the background, the highlights of the report, such as the findings included in the full report, the burden of substance use disorder, opioid use disorder in Mitchell County, groups of people in Mitchell County who are most directly affected by substance use, what is getting in the way of efforts to address substance use in Mitchell County, what is helping us to address substance use in Mitchell County, what could work to do better, just to mention a few of what's actually in this report. So the full report also, as I indicated earlier, includes the appendix as well as the resource list, which you will find in the back of that report. Both the full report and the executive summary will be available on the Mitchell County website for citizens to access. And I encourage our citizens to go to that, take a look at that report, look at the executive summary. Obviously, if they have any questions, or if you guys have any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. I'm happy to do my best to answer those, or go to the team and I'll make sure we get the answer for you, for sure. So as the project coordinator, for the county, and on behalf of the Mitchell County, I want to express a big thank you to those that participated on the steering committee, the key informants, as well as Western North Carolina Health Network, the consultant that guided us through this. Any questions before I move into phase 2 of this project? If not, then you're welcome to reach out to me at a later date for sure. So I'm really excited about phase two. This is something that is new. I don't think it's been done very often in the county. But what we refer to in phase two, it involves a community learning process. Okay, is what we're calling it, around substance and opioid use. This part of the assessment is in collaboration with Yancey County. So the two counties came together, were partnered together to go through this piece of the process. It includes getting the community involved in what is called, again, the community learning process around the substance use in Mitchell and Yancey counties to better understand the current situation. We don't really want to talk about what's happened 5 years ago, 3 years ago. We really want to know what is the current situation around substance use today. This process intends to learn from experiences of those directly affected by substance use, such as people who have used or use currently, family members, neighbors, service providers, first responders, educators, healthcare or other healthcare or clinical service professionals, and others such as these that I've just indicated, and to bring people together within the county to generate actionable insights from what is learned from the community. Therefore, it's very important to keep this in mind. It is a community activity. These experiences can be shared through what we are calling story collecting. These insights and community recommendations, together with the information summarized in this report that you guys have received, are intended to support decision-making for Mitchell County government around the local opioid settlement funds, as well as for other community-based efforts to address substance use. There are several steps within this phase of the project, including, of course, a core team, which has been put in place for several months now, which includes reps from each county, Yancey and Mitchell, consultants, community partnerships, MCHP and PATH. We also have a team of ideal advisors, story stewards, sense making of the stories, and then community agents for the recommendations and implementation, which is what will be brought forth to you guys when we finish this project for sure. So right now we're at the story collecting step. We had our meetings last week. We just kicked off this step of the phase. So this is an invitation for people within our county who are or have been personally affected by drug use to share a lived experience. Okay, they are being invited to share their story, if indeed they have a story to tell. And we want to respect those that may have a story and may not want to share that story. That's okay, right? It needs to be a safe space for individuals to open up and share their story. But we want to allow them to tell their side of the story. Anyone sharing the story is completely anonymous. No names are being asked on our survey of who was sharing the story. So we want to make sure that is a very important piece. So one might ask, how does one or someone hear about this and share the story? Many efforts are being taken to reach out to all corners of the county, so people are aware of this opportunity. So, for example, we have a team of story stewards, okay, who are trusted members of our communities that will be reaching out to individuals, inviting them to share their story. Communications about this opportunity will be distributed in the near future through a wide variety of platforms, such as radio, newspaper, social media platforms, community partnerships in all forms, from the hospital on down, the schools and so forth, Mitchell County website and so forth. So again, my intention is that I reach every corner of this county to at least make people aware of this opportunity and invite them in a safe space that they can share their story. The story sharing process, we are collecting the stories in a wide variety of means, such as electronically. You know, we have a link that individuals can go. If they don't have the tools to do that, we also have a paper copy they can receive. They can do a talk to text. Any form we can get the story in, we're happy to accept it as long as it's their story and they're comfortable in telling their story for sure. We also have the survey, the story collecting form in Spanish, so that it's both in English and Spanish for the individuals in Mitchell County. We've also provided the Mitchell and Yancey libraries through this project with iPads that we purchased from the school that will help our citizens to utilize the tool if they so desire to do so. And then at the end of this project, those iPads will remain with the libraries. So that's a win-win. After the project is over, right now, the stories will end. We will stop collecting them November the 12th. And the libraries will then own those iPads that can change out for citizens for years to come, as long as they work. So as I indicated, we'll wrap up with the story collecting November the 12th, and then the sense making of these stories process will begin. Then the community agents will take the responsibility for moving specific ideas forward of recommendations for Mitchell County to support their decision-making around investing the opioid settlement funds. The goal is to have this information the first quarter of the year. And of course, updates will be provided to you guys as we move forward with the story collecting and sense-making process. Should anyone or yourself have any additional questions regarding the project, or if you'd like to get more involved in the project, you can reach out to myself. You can find my contact information on the Mitchell County website under HR. And we want all of our citizens, again, in every section of our county to be aware of this, to tell their side of the story related to substance use. So we need to spread the word, right? And there will be different means for people to get access to that link so that, again, it's anonymous. I want people to fully understand that. And before closing, I just want to shout out to all of those that have stepped up to participate in this project to date, whether as an ideal advisor, team, a story steward, community partners, and our 3 consultants. This couldn't take place, obviously, without them. And to thank you for those that do share their story in the upcoming months. Because of you, our citizens of the county, change can take place surrounding substance use in our county for the years to come. So again, I encourage our citizens to not only read this report, understand what the findings were, as well as have a list of resources available at their fingertips should they need that, but also to participate if they would like, for sure. So at this time, I'll open it up for any questions about phase 2 of the project. And I do appreciate the opportunity again to be here to share this with you. There have been a lot of cooperation, a lot of teams, a lot of meetings, a lot of work going into this. But if we want good results, then you have to invest the time. So any questions or concerns or comments?
Thank you, Linda, for all your hard work. She's been holding down HR duties and been working opioid related, everything with the meetings, with the gathering of information. You've worked very hard on there, and I just want that to be noted, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
And just to remind myself, it was a total of 3 million something and some change.
For Mitchell County?
Mhm.
No, Mitchell County is actually going to receive 1.9 million,
1.9 over
18 years.
18 years. I got you.
Yeah, and
Okay.
to date, we received 181,000.
Gotcha.
But again, none of that can be spent until a plan's adopted.
Yeah.
So it's well worth our time, I think, to think through and what the best recommendations, because we know we are not going to fix the problem, right? But if we can do something to slow it down or prevent it for individuals in the future, then that's the direction we want to go. Any other questions? All right, thanks again, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate your support.
The next item we've got tonight on the agenda was the law enforcement center bids. I know we tabled it from the previous meeting on 9/5. I'll open the floor up for discussion on that.
Yeah, we're kind of in the process of evaluating the bids, vetting out the bids. I understand we got Hickory Construction here today, and would you all have anything of note to say related to the law enforcement bid?
I'm Aaron Dean, one of the 3 owners, head of operations. We appreciate the opportunity to submit a bid, and we've reviewed the bid. We understand we're the low bid, and we're very comfortable with the project, even though there is a considerable spread between first and second in today's market, that is not uncommon at all. We got a vast, array of subcontractors that maybe some of the other bidders didn't have, and we try our best to get the best pricing out there. So while we're, on one hand, a little disappointed there's that spread, it's a good thing for the taxpayers of Mitchell County. But we're very comfortable with our bid. We've got a good and available team ready to go to work. We have a long, relationship with your design team, Mosley. We've got a large project with them going on in Lincoln County right now that's going to complete the end of the year. If there are any concerns, Steve and I both are here to address any of those that you may have tonight or in the days to come. We're very excited to potentially be awarded and look forward to it. But if there's any questions, we'd love the opportunity to address it.
Would you have a business card?
Yes, sir.
In case,
Yeah.
some of the questions, there might be a lot of technical stuff in open meeting that we might want to, talk about, but now I'd say this, if our board has questions, I guess you could ask, would you be okay asking?
Yes, again, if there's any concern, we certainly want to address those and not have them go unaddressed, for sure. But if there's any tonight, great. If not, we'll certainly address those later, whenever the time's perfect.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I know there was a question from at least one board member as to legal processes related to awards of bids. If count of the commissioners wish to address those as an attorney-client matter, we can do so in closed session and then address the bid award substantively in other business if that is the desire of the commissioners. Certainly you can proceed now if you wish, but if there's a legal issue you wish to address, we can postpone consideration until after a closed session if needed.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to recommend that. I'll second that. Maybe second.
I don't believe it necessarily would be a second, if just perhaps for our friends at Hickory Construction to let them know that there may be action in other business following a closed session this day.
Very good. Thank you.
Appreciate your comments.
Yes, sir.
The next thing we've got on the agenda this evening is the delegated authority for the MOA. This is also tabled from the last meeting, and remind me, County Manager, that's the one to allow.
Linda, Wendy, and Amy. to-
Yes, yeah, gotcha.
Fast track their hiring process.
Gotcha.
Blend in the future, I like.
Is there any, I know you guys were just wanting to review that from the last time. Is there any questions or discussion around that?
I had one in reading through that from the state. That either party could back out of the agreement at any point in time. And my understanding, Mr. Attorney, that would be between the state of North Carolina and the DSS agency.
Yes, sir, that's correct. And then that action on behalf of DSS would be your DSS board, which is comprised of the commission board.
Okay, that's my next question. So that would come back to the DSS board. If changes were to be made internally. And I won't go into a whole lot of detail on that, but let's say changes were made internally, like combining services into one, then the DSS board can make that recommendation. And then that contract for the MOA would be dissolved, correct?
Yes, sir, it could be dissolved or amended by either side.
Okay. That's my only question. The clarification.
Any other questions?
I'll move that we accept the request to make our local DSS the delegated authority as outlined in this MOA.
Second.
Got a Motion and a second. All in favor? Vote the same. Motion carried. Next item on the list this evening is the item number 10C, jury commission appointment, and this is a 2-year appointment, that Janet Cook, has recommended we continue with Kathy Garland, as that appointment. I'll entertain a motion, for that.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, vote the usual sign. Motion carried. And last, 10D, the clerk's report.
Hello,
Oh, yeah.
I'm back. And as of,
Different last name too,
I know, we're gonna have to fix this. I
Have color back in your face.
know. Been to the beach, feeling good. As of Monday, I'm here every day. My hours are a little different, and I'm in a different place. I'm down at the end of the hall, so come hang out with me if you want to. I'm catching up on a lot of stuff from my week out and doing some housekeeping. I know that Ms. Masters has requested I get back on those big red books, so we're starting those back up. All 150 of them, so working on those and just getting everything caught up.
Taylor, what are your hours starting next week?
I started this Monday,
Oh, this Monday.
yesterday, I guess, 8 to 2. I'm here every day, 8 to 2. And I'll be here on meeting days. I'll come in at 1. So today I came here at 1, but I'm flexible. I can be here. If somebody needs to come in and meet with me or talk to me, just let me know if I can have maybe one day of this. I can pretty regularly work it out, so. You can always call me or text me too, so.
Thanks for all that scheduling of the Oklahoma Association County Commissioners Conference. Great.
Had a little help from Christy too, because I wasn't here some days, but she helped me out. Together. That's all I got.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Next on the agenda this evening is the finance officer's report.
Look at you walking, you're walking good.
Trying 5 more PTs. I'm not gonna talk about finance. It's the middle of the month. I'm gonna give you a follow-up on what's going on with the Alta Pass Convenience Center fire and what has happened since we met 2 weeks ago. Let's start with the equipment first. They did total loss, all the equipment. So we've actually already received the money. They've already sent me the checks for that. We've received to date $163,234.51. So we will be replacing 2 forklifts. We'll replace 1 Bobcat, 1 conveyor belt, 1 baler, and don't have any idea about time frame, but we've asked for all these items to be fast tracked. So we're hoping by the end of the year, we'll have equipment coming.
Mavis, what'd you say? You said 2 forklifts, 1 Bobcat, 1 baler, and 1, I mean, some.
Vet conveyor.
Oh,
That Mavis, they didn't, we had two Bobcats, right? One of them.
One of them was the old, what was it?
It's off brand.
Okay.
Perkins, it was like a 91. The value was $9,450 or something. That Bobcat, although it did work, it's was slated to be replaced, and we had actually already gotten that new Bobcat. So the old one would have been actually replaced once the training had been completed on that new one. Not that we wouldn't have kept it and kept using it till it died.
Right.
It's just unfortunately, you're not gonna go out and replace another used one with 9,000. So we'll put that money
Looks like now.
towards.
Is that just what's on the books, the depreciation that was left on it?
What'd they give us for a baler?
What we had it insured for, $47,800. Yeah. Which honestly, I'm very pleased with There's been no haggling, no arguments. They've been very fair. With all the equipment settlements. I mean, I've sent them, what we had insured for, of course, and then what we paid for them, and then what it costs to replace them. And they've been very good, so I don't have any complaints. Today, finally, I got the structural building written report, and Alan, I think I put that on your desk while you were gone in case you wanted to review it. We finally got that, so what I'm hearing today from the insurance is the insurance company, the building consultant, and the restoration company, they put a timeline today, and within the next 10 days, they're gonna come together on a price, and we're gonna get that settled out. They told me today it will be settled within 10 days. So the restoration company told me today by email that we are on their schedule just as soon as they get that word from the insurance company or once they can get that all settled out. It looks like it's gonna be around $200,000 is what they're estimating the repairs on that building is gonna be. So that's just an estimate from the consultant. But I am very pleased with the insurance company. They really went above and beyond. I mean, they went out and they hired the building consultant to price it out. Then they went out and hired the structural engineer. Then they got the restoration company to come in. So they've had, and then their adjuster came out. So there's been like 4 sets of eyes and 4 sets of estimates that's going into this process. So I feel confident that we're gonna come out with a very nice upgraded building, although they're to replace it kind of as is, but I think it'll be nicer than what we've had, obviously. And we're probably gonna put a little bit of money in it. We'll see how much they write off for depreciation, but we may have to put a little bit in it, but it'll be well worth it.
This is scheduled without our company.
So they're the underwriter for them. Next question?
Makes me feel good. That's what I got my garage my building with.
No, they are awesome. They're awesome to work with. This is the first large project that I've done. I wasn't working with insurance back when we had our last fire. But I remember even back then, even though I wasn't directly working with them, they were easy to work with. But I have, as you can see, all the information, so if anybody has any questions, I think Alan and I've learned some stuff too by just meeting with, especially a lot of these waste management people that's come out and talked to us. I think we're going to find some new avenues for some of their recycling products, which is going to be nice. We've made some good contacts and some people offered to help us.
Consultations, some marketing,
Yeah.
potential to get better money for our recyclables. So that's what's brought to the table.
Yeah.
Really cool.
It is, they're, so we can sell more direct and giving us some ideas, which once we get this project done, I think, Alan and I'll come back and talk to you about replacing our old can crusher. It's really like a Noah's Ark piece of equipment.
Is that the one you hand feed?
Yeah,
Okay, that one, okay.
yeah, and then we're having to haul those cans to a processor, and we're getting a few cents on the pound, whereas if we invest maybe $20,000, we can actually bale those, and then we can get the end user to come pick them up on the tractor trailer, and we can make a lot more and not having to just basically, I mean, we're selling them, but we're not really making full market value because we're going through a third party. Same thing with our cardboard and our plastic. So hopefully when we do get it back up and running, we'll,
See, the baled aluminum cubes that are, say, 4 foot square are so much more seller friendly.
Yeah.
That's what the form they want in. So that's going to be
like the end user will take them like that, whereas now the third party takes them just crushed and then they're having to process them. So therefore they're not paying us as much for them before they can sell them to the end user.
I
So
think you can get a price by the next meeting, just the raw part price on how much
It's gonna be between 20 and 25. He's looking to see if he could find me maybe possibly a used one and, but a new one will be about 25, we think. So he's looking to see what, he looked at our space. And the nice thing is that we won't have to hand feed it. The other thing is it'll cut down on our size and space that we're using, which will give us more space to put material under the dry area so we can, where we put our cardboard. And we won't have to be hauling it somewhere. So we're gonna be saving time and a driver and a truck. And so it's much more efficient way to do it. So it's actually, Steve, like a vertical baler.
Yeah.
It's got a much smaller footprint. What did he say, like 6 foot
Yeah, it's
wide?
about a 6 foot square. It goes up a little bit, we'll have to do
Yeah.
some roof adjustments on our current.
Yeah, we probably can't install it till we get our building redone, because it's gonna sit right there and they've got to peel that metal off.
But I wonder if you could, if we got on it as part of the renovation, they could include whatever
Yeah,
roof height on the
Right.
roof that we gotta have to take it in.
and this guy said they'd actually, conform a roof to fit it. They'll install it and make it work, yeah. But anyway, we learned a lot, I think, just,
Yes.
and we went with, I don't know, Steve, if you, talked to the, it's lift waste recycling,
I haven't talked to them.
Mark McDonald,
Mark's first name, I can't remember the last.
Mark McDonald. They're out of Greensboro.
Okay.
It's actually a former,
Town manager.
his degree is in, government management out of upstate. And so he was very,
He's used to
nice.
dealing in waste.
He
and
knows
stuff like-
all about government. He's been a town manager.
Markets.
Yeah, and he's into the waste management whole. So he came in, got us a really good
That's
deal.
good.
Okay. Anything
Thank you.
else on that? Okay, thank you.
Next item on the list this evening is county manager report.
Thank you, Chair. So I guess the first thing I want to talk about on the county manager report is in our backyard right here. We're working with Young McQueen. They have started a site prep on our rec center site footprint. So we're doing site development. I kind of want to, for the sake of the public side of this, since we're live stream, just kind of go over a few things on this project. So the public will kind of know what's going on. We're also going to put a press release out through our communications person. So on this project, they are working on taking out the dirt from the footprint of where our rec center is going to be, and they're going to take out about 8 foot worth of dirt according to our geotech drillings. They're hoping to dry the existing dirt and it would be packable to replace. So you see a kind of some dirt piles here and there, and you see an area out that's kind of getting rolled and everything on this other side. I think our Catawba Valleys, our geotech, they're going to try to do some testing on that and see if we can't bring that back into that onto that site and use that dirt. If not, we'll have to import dirt, which we've made provisions for on our contract. So we're going to be watching that. It's going to be a dry week. I see they're probably about 1/4 of the way done. I went out there and looked at the dig right when I got in this evening, and I'm seeing they've been working before about 7, I think, is roundabout when they started, and I noticed about 5 they were going up to 5, so they're putting in the hours on that. So at the end of the day, what do we got right now on this phase of the rec center? At the end of the day, we're going to have a building seat, and it will be build ready. And so then we put out RFQs, and we are considering a contract with Mosley at the moment to do the rec center architecture work. And as far as how far out, once this building seat's ready, how far out will it be before you see a structure coming up? We anticipate a design and bid process of about 8 to 9 months. And so it's very possible that, about the end of summer, you'll start seeing a building, a pre-engineered metal building will be coming up out there. Also part of this project is in the field area down here. We're gonna have a full-size baseball diamond with bleachers, hopefully a press box. And it's also going to have the creek walk, which will extend around the fields and interconnect everything. Also, we hope to increase parking in this area by about 100+ parking places. There's discussion about a dog park that could be in one area of it. It will hopefully make our recreation department have a lot more options for our county rec league practices, everything to do with that. We got more space. We're hoping that's going to be a pressure valve off of using the school's premises on a lot of stuff, because we share, and you know, it's always a scheduling. So we're going to hopefully free up some things by having this. I always talk about the bigger why on these projects, and the bigger why is, you know, we have youth in this community. These youth need to stay busy. They need to have things to do. And our long game is youth retention. And youth retention has a variety of things, one being sports, one being recreation, one being 4-H, agriculture, livestock, a lot of facets to that. But, you know, our future is our youth. And I think that this board's doing good by putting a priority on that on all aspects. So that's a little bit about the rec center. I'm going to have a press release out on that a little bit this week. We're not doing an official ribbon cutting right now. We're in site development mode, but we will down the road, maybe towards October. We'll look and plan for that. Another thing to talk about is building inspections. We're using Allison Kidd in Avery County. She's a level 3. She's contracted in with the county. We're using Keenan Phillips, who is the Buncombe County building inspector. He's a level 3. He's contracted into the county. They have done all the proper paperwork to be contracted in with the county. They've done their state required forms and done everything on that end of it to be an official inspections for our county. We also got a fire inspector level 3. So that level 3 fire inspector is Paul Buchanan out of Avery County. And that's special thanks to the folks at Avery, to their county manager. We appreciate that for letting us have the use toward Buncombe. So both of these folks, I always told them, I reached out to the county managers. They gave me a green light, you know, and I appreciate that. So just to say a word on that. AltaPass, like we talked about with Miss Mavis, you know, talking about Linda working really hard with this opioid stuff. Mavis has been on site, on the phone. She is a logistical queen. I'm telling you, she gets stuff done. I've been very appreciative to have her over there in finance, getting things lined up with the insurance. That's a finance duty, but it's not one that they do often. You know, it's one that's going to only happen on certain occasions, and Mavis has stepped up big time on that. Law Enforcement Center, we're wanting to move forward on that. Hopefully very soon we'll have this one going. Sabelco and Courts, want to give a thanks out to both of those. So Courts, about 2 weeks ago, took emergency management, our fire marshal, around to sites on the mines to talk about emergency gathering points. So let's say there's something happening. We need our personnel, they're putting signage out where emergency personnel can gather so the roads won't become congested and they can get an emergency response done properly. They took us to every one of those points on the mines that are way up on the mountainsides, and really had a good conversation with us about safety. So special thanks to Courts for reaching out to their county stakeholders to coordinate emergency response. This past Friday, Sabelco held a meeting, stakeholders meeting, where they were talking about their contribution to the communities around us, to Mitchell and Avery. They provide a lot of full-time family wage earning jobs into our county, and they're looking to expand. Both Sabelco and Courts are looking to expand. The relationship that Mitchell County has with our mining companies is a good relationship. I think that we know we need each other. So I just wanted to give a thanks out to Sabelco and Quartz for what they're doing to provide jobs to the folks in our community, to provide family supporting jobs to our folks in the community, and also putting a priority on safety. In addition to what I said about Sabelco having a lot of economic impact into our communities, they are very safety minded. They're all very environmental minded. They're going through the proper steps in environmental regulations. Sabelco is also working with our emergency management director to outfit a chemical response trailer. So that is ongoing right now. So some check marks that this board has done is, you all redesigned the Red Hill intersection, check box. You all have advocated and wrote your letters and made your work to get a chemical spill response trailer updated for the county. Good job. So we are ongoing on that, and we're also doing some mutual training to get our chemical spill response. I hope we never have another, but if we do, we're trying to learn from the last two and up our game. And I appreciate this board looking out for that with our citizens. And that concludes the county manager report. That was almost as long as Mavis.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. I know we've got closed session on the next item. I know I do have one public comment card here. I'd like to make a change on our agenda to move public comments to item number 13.
Switch them.
Yeah,
I'll second.
all in favor, but usual sign on there. With that, I'll say, Steve, you don't mind to come up and talk about the Mitchell County and Amy Library System.
Absolutely. Thank you, commissioners, for allowing me to speak with you. Those online, I'm Steve Rowland. I'm a local volunteer. I serve on the Mitchell County Library Board, Advisory Board, and also on the Regional Board. What I wanted to address to you to begin with, and I'm trying to keep it short, but
I got you on a timer though, Steve. Just
okay.
FYI, sir.
What I want to address to begin with is, first of all, the organization of the board. There's been some questions among other counties about how the library advisory boards are organized and what the responsibilities are. These are local boards. The local board I serve is Mitchell County Library, which is located in Bakersville. That board is responsible for the staffing, working with the regional for staffing. So we do the interview processes for selecting our staff. And we're also help set policy, and we have fiduciary responsibility for the library and the audits and so forth that are and budgets that come with that. The regional board has their own budget, as well as they have specific policies that are set on a regional basis for the libraries to follow. And these are generally worked with the regional director. The responsibility of each of these local boards is to provide library services to the community in which we live. And we have, of course, our board has responsibility for all of Mitchell County and the services, except for Spruce Pine, which there is a Spruce Pine board, and that is the only other non-county entity that has their own board. And some others are going to have to explain besides me. I don't have the history of how that all came about. But there's been some concerns coming out of other counties about the boards. And the way these boards are selected, they're selected from the community with input from the county commissioners. We ask for recommendations from the county commissioners, and each board is constituted to select and approve the local members. Now, we also, which we're unique as Mitchell County, in that we also have an ex officio member, which is a member of your board. Clayton Roberts serves as an ex officio member, and this is tradition we've maintained for quite a few years. I don't know how long it's gone on, but ever since I've been involved with the library board, we've had an ex officio member from the county commissioners. That's not true in any of the other counties, and that's a choice each of those counties commissions are making. They can appoint an ex officio member to serve on those boards if they wish. Now, there has been some concerns about how the library has served local communities, and what I would first of all, I want to commend the Mitchell County Library and the employees we have there. Our staff has done an excellent job concerning what for looking at the community and trying to fit the services they have and the material they have to our local community. I can't speak to any of the other local boards because they're under the jurisdiction of those local advisory boards. From a regional standpoint, our goal is to make sure that all the libraries are following current policy. Now, I have, based on some things that's happened this summer, I've charged or challenged the regional director, to look at some social media issues, because we do not want to. The library is there to provide a service. It's not there to promote an agenda, either political, social, whatever. So we want to be careful in what we put out on social media, and I'm not sure those issues, our policy is outdated, and I'm not sure that's being addressed properly. But we have, at least that is a discussion we're having now.
Steve, your time.
With that, is there any questions you have for me?
I do.
Go ahead, Mr. Harding, I'll defer to you.
Okay, you say, when a person is recommended to be on the library board,
Right.
does that come to this county commission board for a vote and approval of those people?
Typically, the recommendations come before this board.
Okay,
Who has the, I was gonna piggyback, I was actually gonna ask that. I was gonna, who has the final authority for, the selection? Who has the final authority for the selection of the local boards?
The local board has final authority for selection of its members
So the board
to the board.
itself chooses its members. And how are regional board members chosen? Are you familiar with that process, Steve? Regional board members, how are they?
They're selected from the local boards.
So
Members, they are typically selected to represent from representatives from each county or each library.
how many members are on the regional board, Steve?
I think there's, I'm speculating now, I don't remember right offhand, but I think there's 7.
Who's our representative on the regional board? Who is our representative on the regional board?
I am one, I think we are down one right now. And then there's a third, and I'm sorry, I don't have that name right off. So we typically will have 3.
And what is the term limit? What is the term limit?
The terms are typically 3 years and, as of now, those can be reappointed. So someone will serve a 3-year term and they can be reappointed. Not always, but sometimes they're reappointed.
And the
And it's up
reappointed,
to, the approval of, the, board itself, as well as your input.
Who has final hiring authority of the local director? Is it the local board or is
The
the
local
regional?
board. The personnel is managed by the regional director. But, we have final hiring authority. I was involved in the interview process for our current staff of the Mitchell County Library. Let me rephrase that. The regional has responsibility for the regional board has responsibility for the regional staff.
Steve, are you on our, I went blank, help me out here, Alan, our board for, our cooperative extension board, are you on it as well?
Yeah.
I was asking if you are on the cooperative extension board for us as well, you are?
Yes. Yeah, so on that board as well. And just so you know, I'm the current chair of the Mitchell County Advisory Board as well as the Regional Advisory.
Thank you, Steve.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Steve, thank you. I think next item on our list is closed session.
Chairman, I believe that'd be for attorney-client matters and for personnel matters.
I have a motion, we go into closed session for attorney-client matters.
So moved.
Second.
And
And personnel.
I moved forward. My motion is to vote.
Can do this.
Also, yes.
Hey, thank you.